So last week I looked at Metroid for the NES. It was a blast. It hasn't aged as well as some of the things that come after it, such as Super Metroid, Zero Mission, and Fusion. But how do you make it a much better experience? By getting ROM hacks. It's the only thing that you can do if you want it to look better. You can use ROM hacks, such as Metroid HD, which basically makes everything look like Super Metroid, and I don't like it. There is also Metroid Mother. It just updates the graphics a little bit, not like Super Metroid crazy. It's got its own little, style to it. Also, it gives you a mini-map and the save system that was from the original one that came out on the Famicom Disk System. But the one that I'm reviewing today is Super Mochtroid. It is a ROM hack for Metroid on the NES, obviously, but it makes everything look better. You'll see what I mean, so let's roll out that intro and check it out. Slight disclaimer, I am using the NAR password because I was not going to play through the entire game again after just doing it 2 days ago. I'm recording this the day that the first one dropped. Now, immediately as you show up, this changes one major thing. I don't know if you can tell. Can you tell? It's Samus. She's a lot bigger, and according to the ROM hack, instead of being 32 pixels tall, she's now 48 pixels tall. And they had to accommodate for that. The pedestal that you spawn on is noticeably bigger to fit that new height. And this is okay, I guess. She can shoot from a crouch now, which is nice. She can still only shoot left, right, and up, and also her beam stack, which is pretty good. But this is really nitpicking at this point. The Chozo were supposed to be a lot taller than Samus, that's why the doors are so much bigger than her. But because of this hack, the doors are about as tall as she is. But let's stop rambling on about that, and get to Kraid. Now, the map hasn't changed at all, which means I can just go straight to Kraid, and it's fake Kraid that you notice that he is different as well, which makes you assume that the real Kraid is also different. I just killed him with, the screw attack. But it's also here that you notice that the missiles aren't the same. The missiles in the original one instantly killed everything but mini-bosses and Metroids. In this one, they act more like they do in Super Metroid. They move faster, and they act more like a powered-up version of your beam. But, that's only a minor thing. So once we get to Kraid, we notice, yeah, he is different. But I think he is actually weaker to accommodate for the fact that the missiles don't do as much damage as they originally did. Or maybe they do, it's just, I don't know how the coding works. I'm going to assume that's the case, because he went down really fast. Now, one thing I noticed in this specific part right here, leaving Kraid's lair, is that she jumps a lot higher. It's so much easier to do this than it was in the original one without the hack. That's fine, but there's another thing that you notice is that she moves a lot faster because she's so much taller and bigger, and that makes precise platforming hard like you will see later on. We get to Ridley because I'm not going to talk about Brinstar and Norfair because, it's the exact same. And to clarify this, I grabbed the energy tank in the roof of Brinstar. It's the exact same map. So we can just skip to Ridley and forget everything I said. Ridley's room is the one room that I've seen that is completely different. Just look at it. It looks like the Super Metroid Ridley platform, and I think that's what they were going for. Whenever I got this, I wanted a cooler looking Samus, not Super Metroid but on the NES. But at least Ridley's sprite looks nice. It's Super Metroid but 8-bit, basically. But he now flies around the room, if you couldn't tell. He also shoots directly at you, and his fireballs go through the floor, so there's no point in trying to cheese him. So, all you can really do is just fill him up with missiles, and it takes a lot from what I saw. It also took a really long time to beat him whenever I was recording it, like a good solid minute or two. And that makes me excited for actually playing it through without being on the NAR password, because it'll give me an actual challenge, other than the fact that the game is challenging itself, and I'm tired of it. But leaving, I also noticed one other thing. Because Samus is so much taller, she can't fit in the gaps that she used to. The morph ball is as big as the gaps, which is kind of annoying. And she can't jump through these little bits right here. Again, really a nitpick, because you can just jump around, and you can jump onto the platforms that you weren't supposed to in the original, and I didn't do that until towering through Brinstar to get to Torian. And that brings me to another thing. I didn't talk about the statues. You see, those little statues in Brinstar that you have to shoot before you can go into Torian, and you can only shoot them if you beat the mini-bosses. And in this, they actually look really cute. I like them. But let's head into Torian and see what's changed here. I personally expected the Metroids to be different, but they're not. They're the same. In fact, I let a few of them latch on to me, just to see... just because I've got the God Password on, so I can show you what they do. They just drain your health, prevent you from shooting, and I also messed around. The screw attack does repel them, which is nice. So remember that whenever you play the original, as it may save you. They can still only be taken off with a hell of a lot of bombs, and they can still only be frozen and shot with 5 missiles. Heading into Mother Brain's room, we noticed there are only 2 of the little Cheerio things, and the Zebatites are basically the same, but it makes it easier to shoot them, as there's only 2 of the orange Cheerios of death, and you can freeze them. This also makes Mother Brain a lot easier, because you can freeze only 2, not having to worry about a 3rd, and you can just keep shooting Mother Brain and she's gone. Now the escape sequence is where I said Samus's mobility and high jump would make things hard, because she's so much harder to control, and you're still landing on the same platforms as before. It makes it hard. But then again, you can head up, you can do it. Whenever I first did it, I had freaking 100 seconds on the little timer left to go. I cut it close. But even in the end, they still show us how amazing their sprite work is. I mean, look at it. Samus looks awesome here. And the Zero Suit leaves nothing to be desired, I guess? I don't know. This is a fun little ROM hack that I suggest everyone try out if you enjoyed the original. It makes things a bit easier, it makes things more fun. There's a little bit more of a challenge to it, but it also makes it easier. It's kind of like a mixed bag, in my opinion. But with that said, I hope to see y'all on Friday, and I probably won't be uploading for a little bit, as I need to let my voice rest, and I also need to prepare myself for Metroid II. So, I will see y'all when that comes out. Goodbye.